In today's video, I'll show you what you need to make a hot breakfast with a tropical twist while at your campsite that's not instant oatmeal. I'll break it down into easy to follow instructional segments, plus I'll throw in some of the history of just what cream of wheat is, and answer the question, are coconuts actually nuts? All of these things on this week's Making a Mess with the Yankee Camper. Pina Colada, cream of wheat.
Let's put together the ingredients for our hot breakfast with a tropical twist, Pina Colada cream of wheat. Now, Pina Colada simply means strained pineapple in Spanish. So we're going to start with pineapple. We've got an 8-ounce can of crushed pineapple, and we'll place that in our bag. A 6-ounce can of 100% pineapple juice. 2 tablespoons of shredded sweetened coconut. I've placed that in a small vial. We'll just put that in the bag as well. We'll also need 3 tablespoons of cream of wheat. This is not instant. This is the 2.5 minute cream of wheat. 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And optionally, I've added 2 tablespoons of pecans. I placed all of those dry ingredients into a small Loctite plastic bag. I'll just place those inside my paper bag, which I've marked Pina Colada cream of wheat. I've sealed that up, and I'm ready for breakfast out at my campsite. I'll see you out there.
In 1893, the world was introduced to a whole host of inventions at the World's Fair held in Chicago, Illinois. The Columbian Exposition, so named to honor the 400th anniversary of the European explorer discovering that the world was bigger than he thought, had the first Ferris wheel, was lit up by Tesla's AC current, and pulled things together with the zipper. It also exposed fairgoers to a variety of tastes, such as milk chocolate, where Milton Hershey got the idea to build an empire, made pancakes easier with an aunt you didn't know you had, popularized putting hot dogs, also known as Vienna sausages, in a bun and washing them down with the refreshing taste of beer by Philip Pabst, served with a blue ribbon tied around each bottle. Also introduced was a hot breakfast cereal named for its smooth white appearance, cream of wheat. Milling farina, which is a fine but not powdered part of the wheat endosperm, has been around since ancient times and was used in cooking to make bread and porridge. Although the term porridge itself and oatmeal are basically synonymous nowadays, porridge is any grain mixed with water or milk. Heating the mixture helps soften the grains and gives it a smooth texture. Adding sweetener makes it more palatable. It wasn't until the late 19th century in Grand Forks, North Dakota, that Tom Amidon, head miller for the Diamond Milling Company, was trying to help the struggling company recover from the Depression of 1893 and suggested selling the middlings of the wheat berry. He had been taking these cast-offs home, and his wife would create a porridge for the family, similar to the oatmeal made in their native Scotland. Amidon suggested that the company begin packaging and selling the farina. The heads of the company reluctantly agreed to test it. Needing a name, Fred Clifford, another employee, coined the phrase cream of wheat, since the porridge had a smooth, white texture. They filled and shipped just 50 packages, along with the standard shipment of flour, to their broker in New York, hand lettering the name on the boxes. Shortly after, the company received an urgent telegram. Forget the flour, send us a car of cream of wheat. It was a hit. Company execs believed their best course of action was to introduce it to the world by having a booth at the 1893 World's Fair, taking on recognized competitor for the hot cereal breakfast market that was gaining popularity, Quaker Oats. By 1897, the Diamond Milling Company was transformed into the Cream of Wheat Company and focused exclusively on that one product. Needing to expand operations, the company soon moved to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Improvements in the product were made over the years to reduce the cooking time from 20 minutes to where standard cream of wheat cooks now in 2.5 minutes. The instant version is already cooked and just needs rehydration and heating. In 1961, Nabisco acquired the company, moving the company president, 36-year-old David Bull, grandson of one of the founders, to their headquarters in New York, but leaving the manufacturing in Minneapolis. In 2000, Kraft Foods bought Nabisco. On May 15, 2001, day shift workers arrived at 7 a.m. and were informed that there would be a meeting at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. By 1:15, all workers were no longer employed. 4 years later, the building underwent a renovation, converting it to condominiums, the CW Lofts. In 2007, B&G Foods bought Cream of Wheat and Cream of Rice from Kraft for around $200 million. The original Cream of Wheat cereal contained an image of an African American chef, possibly an actual Chicago chef, named Frank White, who had been paid for his likeness. This may have been in response to the 1893 World's Fair portrayal of Aunt Jemima by Nancy Green, a Chicago domestic who made griddle cakes for the crowd using the newly introduced pancake mix. White's image remained for over 100 years, until B&G decided to follow the trend and remove perceived stereotypes from the brand packaging in 2020. Cream of Wheat advertisement had continually promoted its benefits since inception. A 1922 ad appears in ladies' magazines depicting a young boy in overalls with a fishing pole. Alongside it reads, "Little Simon went a-fishing for to catch a whale. He caught one, and what's more, he caught it by the tail." You ask how Simon gained the strength to do this wondrous feat? The answer is, he gained his strength by eating cream of wheat. Now, you know. Let's get our hot breakfast started at the campsite.
It's a brisk fall morning out here at the campsite. I'm going to make myself a hot breakfast of Pina Colada cream of wheat. So let's break out the ingredients that we'll need. We've got the cream of wheat, can of pineapple juice, can of crushed pineapple, and shredded coconut. For cookware, all we're going to need is our small pot. Pull that aside, and the lid. First thing we'll do is we'll shake our can of pineapple juice. Open that up and put that right into the pot. Next, we'll open the can of crushed pineapple just slightly so that we can get the juice of that also. Drain that, set that aside. Lastly, we'll open our shredded coconut and pour that in as well. Give that a mix. Now let's go ahead and light the stove. We'll set that to about a medium. We'll place the pineapple and coconut on top of the stove, put a lid on it, and bring that up to a boil. That's probably going to take about 3 or 4 minutes. It's pretty chilly out here this morning, and so that affects how long it takes for it to come up to heat. In the meantime, while that starts to boil, why don't you hang around and take a look at this? Thank you for watching, and I appreciate it. I don't receive any compensation for these videos, but I do this so that I can help share the information. If you enjoy what I do, buy me a cup of coffee. I'd really appreciate it. I'll put a link in the description below. Thanks. So that pineapple juice and coconuts come up to a boil. I'm going to turn the heat down and let that continue to cook for another 2 minutes or so, just to blend all of those flavors. Give it a stir so that it's just simmering. Oh, that looks lovely. We'll let that coconut and pineapple juice continue to cook for about another 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Coconuts are an amazing fruit. Yep, the coconut isn't a nut at all. It's a drupe, like peaches and plums. By the way, other nuts such as almonds and cashews aren't nuts either. They're also drupes. Oh, and guess what? Coffee beans aren't actually beans. Same category. Olives are drupes too, but now I'm really getting off topic. Did you know that coconuts float? There's some speculation that this is how other cultures were first exposed to coconuts, but the fact is, they were mostly traded. By the 19th century, the desire for oil for frying, before the widespread use of soybeans, allowed the humble coconut to grow in its usefulness. By the middle of the 1800s, shredded coconut was being used as an ingredient in sweet treats such as cakes, pies, and cookies. In 1856, Francis Washburn of Brockton, Massachusetts, was making a coconut cookie, similar to the modern macaroon, in his bakery. Sales of the coconut drops gained popularity, and this led Washburn to decide to press them, cover them in chocolate, and sell them commercially as a confection. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, the Gilson family purchased the Brockton confection business, makers of hard candy, lollipops, and chocolate-covered Waleeco coconut bars. The distinctive blue packaging helped keep the candy bar popular with New Englanders, both young and old. During World War II, all Waleeco coconut bars were sent to the military, allowing them to gain a wider appreciation. After the war, the E.F. Washburn Company, under the direction of Harry Gilson, began advertising on the radio, especially during baseball games, rocketing the popularity of the candy bar even further. It was at this time, however, that the coconut industry became the target of unsaturated fat producers of sunflower and especially soybean oils, labeling the saturated fats of animals as unhealthy. The highly saturated fat of coconut oil was swept up in this so-called health craze, leading to an imbalance in the American diet and a fatter population. I'm no dietitian, nor am I a doctor, but I grew up at a time when food stopped tasting good and grew bland as more products switched their fats and became less able to satisfy. Yes, I'm talking to you, McDonald's French fries. Anyway, the coconut industry began a decline that it has yet to recover from. By the mid-1980s, the F.B. Washburn Candy Company felt they could no longer compete with companies like Peter Paul out of Naugatuck, Connecticut, makers of Mounds and Almond Joy. So they discontinued their chocolate production line, including the Waleeco coconut bar, to focus on hard candies such as Dad's root beer barrels. After Rose's Brands bought the company and shuttered the factory in Brockton around 2022, the nation's oldest family-owned candy business ceased to exist. Now you know. Let's head back to the campsite to finish making breakfast.
That's been cooking along for just about 2 minutes or so. Take my pot holder, remove that from the heat, turn the stove off for a moment. Now we're going to open our cream of wheat mix. Pour that right in. Give it a stir. And then return that to the heat. So relight the stove. Set that to medium. And this will take about 2.5 minutes for it to thicken up. Just requires continuous stirring. I'm going to stir that, and I'll see you in about another 2 minutes. As that heats through, open your canned pineapples. And just add that right in. As the cream of wheat thickens, it'll become a consistency of like applesauce. Well, that's been about 2.5 minutes. I'm going to turn off the stove. You can see that's nice and thick. Place it on my pot holder. Grab my bowl. Pina Colada cream of wheat, made with pineapple juice, pineapples, and shredded coconut. I'm going to eat my breakfast, and then I'll clean up my mess. If you've enjoyed watching this video, take a moment and give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and it lets YouTube know that you like what I'm doing. If you'd like to see more content like this, take a moment and subscribe to my channel. I try to put out a video every week on cooking with a mess kit, camping, or the camping gear that I use. And if you want to share anything, put it in the comment section. I read every single comment, and I try to respond within a couple of days. In the meantime, get outside, and thank you for watching. Big piece of pineapple. I really like that.